again to our channel. Um, it's another wonderful evening again uh, here on this channel. Sorry, I will have to apologize first for starting the live a little bit behind the time that we discussed uh, because of some network glitch. It's been a very I've been trying to connect for a while now, but the network is not actually helping. Not actually helping, and we've been trying, but finally we are here. We've connected. We are live right now. So if you're just joining us, welcome. Uh, Make sure you double tap your screen to like this live, and also comment with your questions if you have any questions. Because we'll start off from where we stopped yesterday in our Q&A, and then we will move to the real topic of the day, which is the future of agriculture and agribusiness in Africa, the opportunities for young entrepreneurs. That is the main topic we will be discussing today. But I will first of all look at the questions we had from yesterday before we now move to the topic of today. So yesterday I had some questions. Let me go back to the where I stopped so that we can finish up with the questions and then move to the topic of the day. One of the questions we have here is, why is spacing important when planting crops? That's a very important question that someone asks. Why is spacing important when planting crops? Spacing is one of the important factors that you must consider when preparing to plant. No matter what plant it is, no matter what crop it is, spacing is one of the most important factor you will have to consider. Most times I see people saying that they can squeeze 2,000 plants, for instance, 2,000 tomato or pepper plants in one plot of land, that they can squeeze that much in a plot of land. And I begin to wonder, because it is very, very difficult to do that. And when you do that, you've already, maybe they say because we want to increase our the population, the quantity of our harvest. Thereby, we need to increase the number of plants, no matter the size of the land. That's what they think. But that is not actually a very good idea. Now, spacing is important because it allows plants to receive enough sunlight. When your plants are jam-packed together, the possibility of a very low sunlight penetration is high. The possibility that there will be no air in your farm is high, because they'll be jam-packed together. There will be no air inside your farm. Hello, welcome. I can see Kiran. I can also see Team Avis OG. Welcome. And Go Cooking Godu. Welcome to our live session. Please do well to double tap your screen to like this live, so that YouTube can also recommend it to so many other people that are interested in this type of content. So we're talking about a question that was asked: why is spacing important? Spacing is important because it allows your plants to have enough sunlight, enough nutrients, because when they are too much in that space, they will struggle for nutrients. But when you give them the adequate space that they need, that each plant need, they can be able to thrive, they can be able to grow, they can be able to have enough resources resources around them to do well. And it also allows airflow. I talked about it before. Airflow is very important. Airflow is very important, and it reduces disease. When the soil, when the spacing is adequate, it gives your plants the room to receive enough sunlight, to have enough nutrient to themselves, and also increase the airflow in the farm, which in turn reduces disease and improves overall crop yield. When you have clusters of plants in a place, the moment one plant is affected by maybe fungicide, maybe fungi, the spread is very easy because they are together. The spaces are not much. Ruben Gaza, hello, welcome to our live session. Do well to put up your screen to like this live. So when the plants are not properly spaced, the moment there is a pest attack on one of the plants, the spread is very fast. For instance, when there is a pest attack like let's say spider mite or thrips or in pepper, if your pepper is not properly spaced, the possibility of spread of that particular pest infestation is high because your plants are closer together. There is no space. So spacing is very important. Now let me take one more question before we move to the main topic of the day. And this question is how long does it take for tomato to mature? Oh, obviously, this is not a question that we can deliberate much on. How long does it take for tomato to mature? It takes between 75 to 90 days, maximum 90 days for your tomato to mature. Okay, and also depends on the variety as well. 75 to 90 days. I think we are done with the questions right now. So let us move straight to the topic of the day. Agriculture. Agriculture as the future of agriculture in Africa, and the opportunities for young entrepreneurs. The future. Okay, I think I have a question from Chairlift. What if my father is I don't think you're asking the right question for the niche that we are here. This is agricultural sector, agric niche. So the question, I don't think we can answer it right now. So the main topic of today, this night, is the future of agribusiness in Africa, opportunity for young entrepreneurs. So in this particular live section, we are going to talk about something very important and also very exciting as well. So the future of agribusiness in Africa, using Nigeria as a case study, and the huge opportunities available for young entrepreneurs. So I'll try as much as I can to give us the details of this topic, and anywhere we're able to stop today, we can still continue tomorrow because it's going to be a series. We take it bit by bit until we cover it up. Now, for a long time, many people believe that agriculture is for rural farmers or for older generation, but today agriculture have evolved into a powerful business sector. Mind you, in Nigeria, around the early 90s, Nigeria as a country was known for its rich agricultural produce. But the moment we discovered oil, agriculture was left behind. But today, agriculture has evolved to become a powerful business sector with massive opportunity for innovation, technology, and wealth creation. That is where we are right now in agriculture. If you are a young person or anybody at all looking for a profitable business to start, agriculture or agribusiness, as you may call it, might be one of the best industries to consider. And I will tell you why. So here in this particular life, I'll be sharing why agribusiness is the future of Africa and Nigeria, and some opportunities you can take advantage of. So as you are discussing, if you also have any question, do make sure to drop it in the comment section. Okay. Now we will be discussing this topic in different sections. The first section we'll be talking about is why did I say, or why do I say that agribusiness or agriculture is the future of Africa? Why am I making that bold claim that agribusiness is the future of Nigeria, or the future in Nigeria per se? Africa, I want to break it down stage by stage so that we can be able to understand it better. Africa has over 60% of the world's uncultivated land here in Africa. So, which means that the continent has enormous potentials for food production, which is one of the factors I'm talking about. If agriculture is the future in Africa or in Nigeria, why am I making that claim? First of them all is that Africa as a continent has over 60% of all of the world's uncultivated land here in Africa. So there's a potential of huge food production. At the same time, Africa's population is increasing by the day. Just like Nigeria is estimated to be around 250 million people. So it is increasing every single day, which means the food or the demand for food will also increase every year. So it's an advantage. The population or the growing population is an advantage. Okay, so because of the increase in population, there will also be increase in demand for food every single year. Because of this, agriculture is no longer just about farming. It's no longer about farming. It is now a complete business ecosystem. Due to the fact that the growing population in Africa, population are growing every single day, which increases the demand for food production every single year, it has now made agriculture to no longer be just farming in our backyard for our families. It is now a complete business ecosystem, which includes food production, food processing, storage, and logistics, agricultural technology, marketing, and exports. There's a whole long chain that comes into this sector, because agriculture have become a complete business ecosystem, which now involves not only producing food production, processing is part of it, logistics is part of it, storage is part of it. We also have agricultural technology, because we are in the age of technology, also part of it. Marketing and also exports is also part of it. It's a complete ecosystem that cannot be ignored. This creates thousands of opportunities for entrepreneurs across the agricultural value chain. Because of this complete ecosystem, you can find a place that you see the opportunity to fit in. You can find a place. You must not produce, you must not sell, you must not. There are a lot of things in that ecosystem because it's now a complete business. It now creates thousands of opportunities for anybody across agricultural sector, across agricultural value chain. Has a very big opportunity. That is the first section, which is why I believe or I say that agriculture is the future in Africa. Now, the second section we are going into now is what are the opportunities for young agripreneurs in agriculture. Now, if I always emphasize on young agripreneurs, doesn't mean that if you are not young, that you cannot venture into agriculture. That's not what I'm saying. Just that my emphasis are basically on young entrepreneurs. But any other person can go into farming, any other person can invest in agriculture, any other person can do agribusiness. Don't get me wrong, okay? So what are the opportunities? Opportunities for young agripreneurs in agriculture or in agribusiness. Number one, crop production. Crop production. That is the first stage. Number one, crop production. Young agripreneurs can start a profitable farms growing simple crops. Now, there are lots of crops that you can plant or produce and you make a lot of money. Crops that have export value. Crops like cocoa, cashew, what's it called? Ginger, what's it called? Trying to palm oil palm oil. What's it called again? Forgetting the name. There are a lot of them. Cashew, cassava. There are lots of these crops that have a very high export value. But before you can start that kind of production, it requires a lot of effort, lot of resources as well. So we're not taking it to that length for anybody, for everybody. If you have the money, you can do that. But we are trying to simplify agribusiness, not make it look so complicated. So we are taking crops that are always in demand. I said it yesterday that there is no, if I don't have the money to start planting cocoa plantation, I can start with doing vegetable that can give me little turnover and I will grow from there. So let us look at the basics and crops that are in demand. So the opportunities are there. Crop production. Young entrepreneurs can start growing crops like fluted pumpkin, like tomatoes, like cassava, like vegetables, and you turn over from there. It is crop production. These crops are always in demand. The funny thing is that some people will say, is it not a vegetable? Is there money in vegetable? I know people that are making it big, planting only leafy vegetables. They don't do anything else. Their work every year is to plant water leaf, spinach, and pumpkin every year, and they are making it so big, very quiet. So these are small crops that you can start and get your turnover. Then if you are buoyant enough, you can now go to 3 crops like the cashew, the cocoa, the palm oil, the trying to remember the rubber. Yes, You can now go into those ones. But we're trying to take it simple, make it simple, not complicated. So there is opportunity in crop production with proper planning, improved seeds, and good farm management. Crop farming can be very profitable. I know about it. It can be very juicy with proper planning. Your maintenance, your practice is top notch. It is actually very profitable. Number two of the opportunities is agricultural processing. Agricultural processing. This is another major opportunity. Um, I think I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to. Okay, agricultural processing is another opportunity in agricultural sector. It is another major opportunity is value addition. Value addition. If you learn how to add value to a raw material or raw agri produce, you realize that you end up making more money than selling your agri produce in their original state. You realize that you make more money when you process, when you add value, just small value. You will see that there is going to be a significant increase in what you are going to sell than when you sell when they are in their natural state. So instead of selling raw produce, entrepreneurs can process crops into products like let's say for instance what's it called, tomato paste, cassava flour, dry vegetables. You can process them. Now I just thought of something. I remember something that happened I think sometime 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago about this processing, that it struck me that there is opportunity anywhere and everywhere, unless it is until you realize that you know. So for food processing as an opportunity, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, my wife bought what's it called, plantain. She bought plantain, bunch of plantain, around I think around 3,500. She bought the bunch of plantain with a lot of big plantains there in it for 3,500 for one bunch, and brought it home. So that was 3,500. Then during the weekend, I just came back from the farm, and she served me plantain chips. Plantain chips. I was like, wow, from where to where? How do we get plantain chips? And it was unripe plantain that she sliced it like the way they used to slice those plantain that you see in shopping malls. Sliced it very, very slim and fried it like that. It was very okay. Very, texture is nice, as like plantain chips. So when I was eating, I was like, wait a minute. The quantity of plantain that she have turned to plantain chips is like maybe 1/3 of the total bunch of plantain. And what she was able to get from it should be up to 1 cup of plantain chips that we buy from shopping mall in my area for around 6,000 naira. There is this plantain chips that is sealed. I don't want to call the brand name so that I don't call any brand name. But if you know it's actually sizable, and it's peppered plantain chips. We buy it for 6,000 naira per 1 cup. But that day I was eating the plantain, and I was imagining the quantity that my wife processed into chips, there was even more than the one we used to buy for 6,000. And we still have more plantains, unripe one, that she have not even touched. That means for 3,500 bunch of plantain, if we decide to process all the plantains to plantain chips, we might be getting up to 3 cups that we buy for 6,000 in shopping mall. So with your 3,500, if you process it, you get maybe groundnut oil and maybe for time and all, you get up to 3 of that cups. 6,000 by 3 is around 18,000 with 3,500. I didn't actually do the business, but I just did a rough calculation in my head, and I was like, wow, just by slicing those plantains, unripe plantains, into tiny slices and frying them, just giving them small value, you can be able to get profit of over 300% from that simple act. So food processing, why am I giving this story? Food processing is a very lucrative business or aspect of agriculture that people are overlooking. The moment you add value, have you ever wondered why? If you go, when it's the season of corn, that is maize, when it's corn season, the corn is coming out. The moment you go to the market, or you go to bush markets, as we used to call it, you will go and buy maybe a bucket of corn for around 2,000 naira, and in that bucket it might be up to 10 pieces inside the bush market, and you take it home and you enjoy with your family. But the moment you go to a roadside corn vendor, those people that used to roast corn by the roadside, the moment you go to that place to go and buy corn, they will tell you that one corn is 500 naira. Why is one corn 500 naira? They have been able to go to that same bush market you went to, buy that corn for 2,000 naira, that is up to 5 or 10 in a bunch, and they are able to now buy charcoal, set fire, and heat up the fire and roast the corn. So they have processed the corn from its raw natural state to now a roasted corn. So they are giving you a roasted corn. It is processed. They have added value to it. So imagine selling one corn for 500 and you have 5 or 6 that you bought for 2,000 in the bush market. By adding little value to that simple corn, they are selling it for 500 naira. That is value addition. Now, cassava flour as well. A lot of things that you can process, that you can add value to, and you will see that you can be able to make good profits from value addition. So it's another aspect of agribusiness that we cannot overlook. It's very, very lucrative. Now, the third opportunity in agribusiness or agriculture is agricultural supply and input business. This is another aspect that is also very lucrative. Agricultural supply and input business. All of us must not plant. Not be everybody go enter farm, go work. All of us must not be in the farm. Most people are into logistics of carrying farm produce to the market, while some people are selling the seed that we are buying to plant. Some people are selling the fertilizers that we buy. Some are involved in selling pesticide, insecticide, foliar fertilizer, all agri inputs, because it's not everybody that is going to produce. So while some are producing, some are selling raw materials and farm implements, farm tools. So farmers need many inputs to run their farms. So you can start by selling farm inputs to farmers, like seeds, like fertilizers, like pesticides, farm tools, simple farm tools, knapsack sprayers. Everybody must not be farming. You can take the opportunity, young people or anybody can take the opportunity as an entrepreneur to build a business that supplies these inputs to farmers, which is also a profitable segment of agribusiness. Very profitable. Agricultural supply and input business. So we have other opportunities that we have not been able to, that we will also look at in our next live session, because it's already 30 minutes. I always try to keep my live section to be 30 minutes so that we can be able to do some other things as well. So tomorrow we are coming back to continue. I said that this particular section is going to this particular live, the topic is going to be in different sections. The first section, we talked about why agriculture is the future in Africa, and the second section we looked at the opportunities that are in for young entrepreneurs. So in the next section, we'll now look at other aspects. We're going to the next section again. So we have like third section and the fourth section. So, but we start from the third section in our next live session. That is, it will be tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll continue from where we stopped today. So we have mentioned two parts of this topic. Number one is why agriculture is the future in Africa and Nigeria. Number two is the opportunities that are in agriculture and agribusiness. So we have the third section that we'll talk about tomorrow. Don't miss out. Make sure you tune in by 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. So we'll continue from the third session. The third session is the why young people should get involved. Why should young people get involved in agriculture and agribusiness? So we'll start from that section tomorrow by 7:30 p.m. So do well to join us. Make sure you are part of this explosive discussion, and also do well to ask us any question you have. Just drop it in the comment section. Even if we are no longer live when you watch this video, if you have any question or any concern, drop it in the comment section and I will do well to answer all your questions. I hope you got value watching this video. If you did, do well to like and share, and also subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out anytime we tune in live again or anytime we post a new interesting agricultural video. Until then, see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.